Greetings and welcome to Small Business CEO TV. My name is Glenn Garnes, and I'm your host and also the founder of Small Business CEO. This TV show was designed to help small business owners get connected to both customers and colleagues. Our goal is to have you get to know our members as you get to know their businesses. And the purpose is ultimately to help you make a better connection, whether you're going to be a customer or a potential colleague and referral source. It's a great way for you to get to know the people that you're meeting. So I want to thank you for joining us for this episode, and we're going to jump right in and have a wonderful conversation with Chris Daley of Digital to Grow Media. Chris is a digital expert, a digital marketing expert, and he has a lot to share with us on this topic today. So we're going to get right into the meeting with him. But first, before we talk about his business, we're going to find out a little bit more about Chris. So Chris, welcome to Small Business CEO TV.
It's good to be here, Glenn.
I'm glad to have you, and you're always welcome in the studio. So you're a familiar face too. So it's not like this is your first time ever being exposed to Small Business CEO.
We go back a long way, buddy.
Yeah, we do for sure. And I'm so happy that you have been with us all these years because you really understand the impact of what Small Business CEO is all about. And that's why you jumped on board the minute that you had the opportunity to.
It's a no-brainer, as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Well, I appreciate hearing it from someone other than me. So let's before we start talking about your business, let's find out a little bit more about you. So what is like the first thing that you want people to know about Chris Daley?
Interesting question. I'm dedicated to small businesses. One of the things I notice in our communities that the big guys are really dominating business, and a lot of small businesses are getting swept away in a digital tsunami. And so and businesses, small businesses are the heartbeat of any town or village or center. How do you make sure that they're viable? So I belong to groups that have this kind of dedication, like your group, that are dedicated to the sustenance and the transformation of businesses within digital space that they can be sustainable and profitable going forward.
Well, I know that you have a lot of passion behind this subject, and we've had many conversations about how to support and help the local business owner, the small business owner. And you've just done amazing things in mastering the technology so that you can take the learning curve out of it for small business owners. You literally have put yourself in a position to basically allow them to outsource anything they need to know about marketing themselves digitally.
Exactly, and do it at a price point that's going to be very attractive to them.
We're going to come back to that. Yeah. But I want to go back even further than that, because when I asked you, what do you want people to know about Chris Daley, I want to know about you personally.
Okay.
So start off by telling us where you're from. I'm
originally from Jamaica, and Mother's Day is going to be special this year because I lost my mom a few years ago. But she had where I get all of my DNA for entrepreneurship is from my mother.
Is that right?
This woman that said, I'm not going to remain poor. I'm going to, and she had it out, borrowed money from her mother-in-law, and in 2014, we had a special family picnic. 150 folks showed up. 150 folks were there because that woman made the decision to come here in February 1968.
Wow, that's amazing. Now that brings up a very important point, which is that she obviously was a connector.
Yes.
She obviously was an influencer. And that probably came a lot from her leadership by doing as opposed to just telling other people what to do.
Exactly. She was an action taker. She saw opportunity and she'd run with it. That's kind of stuff this lady do will make me cry these days. But she was a risk taker and she was bold, and I'm fortunate to actually have gotten some of those kind of traits from her that I can, in a topsy-turvy world like today, I can actually survive.
Well, here at Small Business CEO, we call that mentorship. That's beautiful, man. What a great story. And you were very fortunate because a lot of people do not get that kind of support from their family unit, from their parents, because their parents' experience is very different. Their parents sometimes didn't own their own businesses. They may have had a negative attitude about being in business for yourself, or calling themselves wanting to save you from making a mistake. They discouraged you from pursuing your dream. But you actually had someone that was like digging at you to go after your dream.
Yeah.
Excellent.
She was
excellent.
really that boldness. Yeah.
So when did you leave Jamaica?
In 1973.
Okay, so you were still in grade school?
Yeah, that was at the near, I think it was in equivalent to ninth grade here.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, we'd lived with my aunt there. She wanted us not to lose our cultural bearing. And then she said, let's go.
Very good.
So she and my dad were here already. And then my sister, and then myself and my brother. I have one brother, one sister. And we made the journey.
So everybody's here.
All of our immediate families are here.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, when did you develop an interest in digital marketing?
Well, my career span started with electrical engineering, actually.
Ah.
And I worked for Bell Labs. And I used to design microchips. All of these chips goes into this stuff, former generation. Then one day, I was at a point in my career that I wanted to do something different. And my mentor said, I want to give you this project, and if you do well, I think you'll be on your way. It was at that time, the Bell system was not, to do microchips is a pretty capital-intensive business, like $2 billion a year to build new factories, new equipment, and the like.
Sure.
And they were building this stuff, but part of it is a packaging that these chips go into. They go into disk drive, different kind of stuff, versus what the Bell system was. My job was to go solve the packaging solution that you can go into laptops and those stuff. And so a lot of leadership were taken. We had to go overseas to try to get vendors who had it before we brought that technology in-house. And actually, the folks that were there were somewhat pointing at each other. It's your fault, it's your fault. The difference between silicon and the device was a big issue. So to be able to bring people together, let them to see the future and to lead them in that point of view. The marketing folks saw me as now an ace, and they said, look, we're losing because we don't have this package. You're going to go with us on these tours to go tell people how you're going to fix it.
Wow.
So that's my first take in marketing. I didn't even know what marketing was at that time. And one gentleman took a real shine to me, and he said, look, you're that good. If you leave this engineering stuff and come do marketing, I'll teach you everything you need to know. And that was the beginning of my marketing
You
career.
jumped at that?
Of course, I said, he was a genius. This guy did stuff that was incredible.
So let me stop you there, because you just gave us a mouthful of wisdom that if someone watched this episode, they'd be learning for the next 2 or 3 years. But first, you described a situation where you entered into an environment where the teams weren't working together, they weren't cooperating. And so they were actually stifling the ability to find solutions because they were blaming each other instead of working together to solve it.
Exactly. And the idea was a simple idea that I threw a lunch. I asked my boss, give me $300. I wanted to throw a lunch, and I bought a few certificates, and some guys were doing good work. I gave them award before their management. That changed the entire dynamic.
Wow.
A lunch for $300 brought the team together because you have people in different areas doing this kind of work.
It's amazing you didn't end up being CEO because they probably spent thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars on training, all kinds of stuff that wasn't working.
Yeah.
You spent some money on lunch and a few certificates, and now everyone's happy together.
Yeah, relationship matters. The heart of any great stuff is trust and relationship. And when people can trust you, lots of good stuff happens.
Well, that's the foundation of what Small Business CEO is all about.
Exactly.
Maybe that's why you were such an advocate for it.
Oh, of course, because you've always been building a relationship between people. And when you have one of my favorite books is Covey's son, not the father.
Not the original, yeah.
It's a son. Trust is really the speed of business.
Yeah.
When folks can do a handshake and do business versus getting a bunch of lawyers together, that's called trust tax. If you can shake and people can trust your word and you can deliver, lots of good stuff happens fast, as opposed to folks working through.
Well, having been on the lawyer side of that, I certainly can vouch for that.
Exactly.
Good deal.
Yeah.
So before we move on to getting detailed into your business, you have any hobbies or any passions that, whether they led to your business idea or not?
I'm an avid reader, and now I'm involved in a lot of grandparenting.
Oh my goodness.
It's like they're popping out. I have 5 kids to worry about as far as grandparents. So it gives you a sense of the future and to see how you're going to influence these kids' life. I have a daughter. I have 3 daughters, and my present wife has 1. She has 2 grandkids, and I, from my side, have 3 grandkids. So I have a daughter in California who is actually a TV producer. She has 2.
Oh, she's going to be really critical of this.
Yeah, exactly. She just came up from India. She did a Facebook thing in India, and I'm so proud of her. And my middle daughter, she does have a 5-month-old, and my youngest daughter is getting married this summer.
Wow.
So it's a whole dynamic time of life to worry about family relationship and kids and grandkids right now for me.
Well, be sure to pass a little entrepreneurial spirit on to all of them.
Exactly.
Because we need for small business CEO to be perpetuated into the future too, future
Exactly.
generations.
Yeah,
So.
that's going to be very vital. You start
Fantastic.
thinking what kind of legacy you're going to leave for these kids.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
So now it's time to talk about your business.
Okay.
Digital to Grow Media.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about what you do and who you do it for.
We're somewhat passionate, as you said, about small businesses who are getting, if you're not digital, you're dying. And that's really the law of the day. There's this tsunami of digital technology, and a lot of folks, because social media channels are free, they think they can do it themselves. So when they fail or not getting success with it, we now look to develop success strategies to install within their businesses to actually realize engagement with clients, how to engage clients, and actually move that from a client to evangelist for their businesses.
Absolutely.
And so to keep engage their clients or their prospects and to allow them to do that, we use all types of instruments to do that. Or core instruments, actual reputation, because relationship matters. 92% of folks look at reviews when they're checking out the business before they even decide
make
to
a
engage.
purchase. That's right.
And so how do you use that? How do you monitor how your reviews are going? And how can you use that now as a business asset in your business? So that's one of the things that we do. They may have website, they're concerned with how pretty the website look and how many other friends say about that. That's not my issue. My issue is what kind of traffic you're getting to your website. So we do both organic and paid traffic that can drive engagement to that website that they can actually realize business.
Well, let me stop you there for a minute because you mentioned something very important. A lot of business owners think that because social media platforms are free that they can do it themselves.
Right.
But there's a big difference between having a toolkit and knowing what to build with it and how.
Exactly.
And that's where you come in, is that there's a strategy to how to leverage those free tools and some paid tools that all build a system and process for bringing traffic and qualified traffic at that. And that's where I think a lot of business owners are missing the boat. They assume, as you pointed out, that because it's free, I can do this on me. I get a high school student.
Exactly.
There's a
Hey,
difference
Johnny,
between
come do this for me. Yeah.
big difference between tweeting your high school rant or posting your selfie versus having a marketing strategy, taking your message to your customers.
When to engage your customers, how to integrate your offers within your social channels, how to harvest that. A lot of folks don't even know, only about 4% of folks who come to your website actually engage with you. They figure, oh, what do you do with the other 96%? Do you leave them alone? How do you get them to actually pay attention to you? Those are the kind of strategies we bring to the business person.
And that's huge because most business owners are being successful with a 4 to 5% traffic rate. You can imagine if you could get another 5% of that to engage with
Exactly.
you. But it does take strategy, and it does take
a
some
lot of
extra
strategy.
expertise.
Yes, and campaigns. Not to put up an ad, and you have to think long term. Basically, you have several kind of traffic. You have warm traffic, or let's start hot traffic. People who just love you. You have something new, and they'll just buy from you. There's warm traffic. People may know about you, but they don't know about your business. And then there's cold traffic. People who are strangers to you, how do you get them to be interested in you? And so all these three types of traffic, you have to treat accordingly to where they are in their engagement with you to be able to win them over to become clients and customers.
And of course, you've got technologies and systems and strategies to address all of those.
Exactly.
Now, you mentioned you have a heart and a passion for small business, and I'm assuming that means locally owned businesses for the most part?
That's correct.
So tell us about, who would you consider to be your ideal client? Is there any particular industry, or is it anyone that owns a locally owned business?
I'm available for everyone, but there are certain niches that I pay a lot of attention to.
Give me an example of some of those.
Accountants.
Really?
Accountants are one of the main people I like to actually engage, and printers. You see, take for instance an accountant. An accountant, if they're going to stay in business, the business that they serve, they're not just there for bookkeeping. They're to help to give ideas for that business owner to actually grow. And so if they're not having a feeder system to do that, that business could go out of business. So accountants are prime for me to go out and say, look, what kind of ideas, strategy you're sharing with your clients that their business are also growing.
Nice.
So, yeah.
You have any others? Accountants?
Printers.
Printers?
Printers are also key. They're what we call analog. They do paper. But sometimes they need complementary digital solutions. So videos and display ads are part of my portfolio. So partnering with a printer is a very synergistic kind of dealing. So we also
So they're both, so printers are both potential clients and also referrals, so a good alliance partner for you.
Exactly.
Excellent. Yeah. You work with restaurants?
Yes. One of the things that we like doing at restaurants are social offers or sign-in. I call sign-in forms. A lot of restaurants, if they like to do business, they may go to Groupon or one of these deal places. But what they do not have is a way of capturing that lead. Groupon will say, sell them the lead. Somebody buys the lead, they come, they redeem the lead, but they don't have any relationship, but that transaction they did with them.
There's no follow-up.
Right, so we allow them to now capture that lead and do a follow-up and start to build that relationship.
Excellent.
We have a system to actually do that. So that's great for restaurants. We also, in our social media suite, we allow them to integrate offers to customers that flows really nicely as opposed to just giving out information. How do you build your information about foods, especially if you're ethnic restaurants, to tell them about the country or the like, but then integrate your offer into that. If it's a limited offer, say maybe a slow night like a Tuesday or Monday night's a slow night, how do you get people involved like that? So we look at the flow within the business and help them to plan, especially for their slow nights, that they can have a pretty steady stream.
Fantastic. So you raise an issue here, which is that you specifically mentioned restaurants on Groupon, but I suspect that other businesses that are using digital solutions like Groupon, but have no follow-up system in place to continue being in contact with that customer.
Salons.
Those would be good referrals. Hair salons.
Hair salons are also perfect.
Day spas.
Yeah, suppose day spas, sometimes, especially for restaurants, the other thing that they may have, suppose they have a very busy night and tables are not available. Are they going to lose that prospect to a restaurant down the street, or can they capture that prospect, let them wait, maybe even send them to get a free coupon with a drink while they wait for a table to be freed up? So we integrate some of that kind of thinking. You have to do great marketing, you have to be in the mind of the client, understand how they make decisions and actually anticipate the decision or the non-support that they may have and actually remedy that. So that's pretty key. It's not just say, hey, I'm here, sales. It's
Yeah,
to,
so it's not just
yeah.
about the tools, it's about the strategy that goes behind the tools that's always driven by, human behavior.
Exactly. The psychology is the biggest part of it, to be able to be in that customer's mind, understand how they're thinking, anticipating it, and delighting them at the end of that engagement.
Well, it's clear to me that you've given incredible thought to all these things, and that's why you're such a resource to small business owners who, frankly, should be more focused on the core of their business. And most people that are good at what they do, whether they be accountants or restaurants or day spas, they're good at what they do, but they're not good at marketing what they do.
Right.
That's why they come to you.
Exactly. Do not go with the temptation that, there's a free channel, I can do this.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this is a pretty standard question I ask all of our guests, which is simply this. What do you like most about being in business for yourself?
I like to see the delight in the client's mind when they have been success, because my contribution to them.
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a good
that's
one.
it. That's to see somebody call you up and say thank you for what you did for me.
So the gratification
Yeah.
of working together to create success.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I want to become their most dependable support person.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
There's so many people that come in and they tell me it's the time freedom, it's controlling my own destiny. I love that. That's the first I've heard this particular answer. Now, I'm sure other people have that in their heart too.
Right.
I'm so glad that you led with that, because it needed to be heard, because it really shows where your heart is as a professional. And I'm going to make a mental note to myself that that might be something I need to be expressing a little more fully when I'm talking about what we do here.
I'm very passionate about strategies. When somebody comes with a problem to me, and to develop a strategy to lay that out, I'll get up all hours of the night just to work and stuff like that. That's my passion.
Fantastic. Now, Chris, before we wrap up, I want to find out, do you have any special projects or promotions or anything going on? I guess with promotions, you want to be careful, because this video is kind of an evergreen thing, but you have anything going on right now that you'd want others to know about?
Sure. We're about to launch a video commercial. Video is hot right now. 92% of folks said, gee, it makes your website sticky. Marketers are using it more because they know people remember your information, they remember your offers through videos. So we have launched a 30-second commercial, video ad commercial, that we actually giving away a limited amount for free. It's a new product, so we wanted to take in the market. So we have a limited offer that we're giving folks that they can take advantage of us. This is normally about a $1,000 item.
Wow.
And we're going to give away some for free.
Now keep in mind that by the time people see this show, the freebies may be over, but the value will still be there in the paid product too.
Yes, but we're not just doing the video for them. We're also combining that with some of our traffic sources. So we're bundling the video with one of our traffic engines that will guarantee them a certain amount of impressions for that video.
So you're not only creating the marketing message in the form of a video, but you're sending people to experience the message.
Exactly. We'll guarantee that they'll have a certain amount of impressions of that.
That sounds like a great 1-2 punch. And I suspect there's some people sitting here watching this TV show. They're like, hey, Glenn, how can I get in touch with Chris? So let's tell them how to do that now.
Yes, well, if you'd like to get in touch with me, go to digitaltogrowmedia.com. And my offer is going to be at digitaltogrowmedia.com/VIP. And the VIP because you're very important to me, and the offers will be there for you to take advantage of.
All right, so that's www.digitaltogrowmedia.com if you want to go to the main website and find out about all the things Chris does. And if you simply add /VIP to the end, is it capital or lowercase?
Yeah,
Should be either one?
Independent.
Well, try it one way or the other. Try it capital, try it lowercase, but VIP at the end of digitaltogrow.com to see the special offer where he's giving you the opportunity to get a free 30-second TV commercial and traffic driven to it as well, so that you can actually experience the opportunity to get your message out in a turnkey fashion. So, wow, well, this has been another pleasurable opportunity for us to have a chat, and our chats normally go longer than this, but we'll continue this one off camera a little bit, because we got some other things we'd like to catch up on, I'm sure.
It's always a delight talking to you, Glenn. because we're so like-minded as to what we want to do to make a difference in the local community, and to
That's
find like-minded people like you. It's always it's a good thing.
We both want to be part of other people's success story by showing them the way, and I appreciate your coming on to share how you can do that. So, so on behalf of Chris Daley and Digital to Grow Media, my name is Gwen Garnes. I want to thank you for watching this episode of Small Business CEO TV.